Ladies and gentlemen, someone hurt you. Maybe they broke your trust. Maybe they made you feel like you were too much or not enough. Maybe they looked you in the eye and didn't see your worth. And I'm here to tell you, you don't have to carry that pain like it defines you. You're not what they did to you. You're who you choose to become after it. First, don't pretend it didn't happen. Don't plaster a smile over a cracked heart and call it strength. Real strength is being honest with yourself. Saying, yes, that hurt, cry if you need to, scream if you have to, feel it, and then decide, this pain doesn't own me. Second, draw the line. Boundaries are not walls, they're gates. You decide who gets access to your life. If someone can't respect your value, your voice, or your vision, they don't deserve a seat at your table. Love yourself enough to walk away without looking back. Third, stop replaying the moment they hurt you. Don't give them that power. They took a chapter. They don't get the whole book. Shift the focus from why did they do this to me to what can I build now, because your energy is too precious to waste on people who didn't see your worth in the first place. Fourth, get active. Confidence isn't found in words. It's built through action. Show up for yourself. Go to that class. Start that project. Say yes to things that scare you a little. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you take your power back piece by piece. And finally, let it fuel you. Your pain is not a dead end, it's a turning point. Maybe what broke you is the exact thing that'll build your future. Don't just survive it, use it. Turn that betrayal into boundaries, that heartbreak into healing, that rejection into redirection. You weren't meant to stay broken. You were meant to rise, stronger, louder, wiser, and more unapologetically yourself than ever before. Acknowledge the pain, don't suppress it. It stays powerful and emotional without using any subheadings or ending sentences. Pain is uncomfortable. It's messy, inconvenient, and often arrives uninvited. When someone hurts you, whether through betrayal, rejection, manipulation, or abandonment, the first instinct is often to act like it didn't affect you. To keep moving, to pretend everything's fine, but the truth is, pretending doesn't make the pain disappear. It buries it, and what we bury we carry. It doesn't leave it lingers beneath the surface, influencing our decisions, shaping our self-worth, and tainting our future connections. We live in a world that idolizes strength, but misunderstands what strength really looks like. Real strength isn't silence. It isn't pretending to be okay when you're falling apart inside. Real strength is standing in front of the mirror, looking into your own eyes and saying, "That hurt me." Real strength is having the courage to admit that someone's words or actions pierce through your armor. It's allowing yourself to feel it without shame. So many of us were raised to be tough, to shake it off, to smile through the pain and carry on like nothing happened. But that kind of toughness builds walls, not healing. When you suppress what you feel, when you minimize your own experience just to seem unbothered, you end up betraying yourself for the sake of appearing strong. That's not strength, that's survival mode, and you deserve more than just surviving. When someone hurts you, it's okay to be angry. It's okay to cry. It's okay to feel confused or numb or completely shattered. These emotions are not weaknesses. They're signals, signals that something mattered, that something important was violated, that your heart, your trust, your dignity was not treated with care. Feeling that is human. Honoring that is healing. Acknowledging pain doesn't mean drowning in it. It means giving it space to be heard. If you don't face it, it starts showing up in other places. It spills into your relationships. It speaks in your tone even when you say, "I'm fine." It creeps into your confidence, whispering lies about your worth. It rewrites the story you tell yourself about who you are. Unless you catch it, unless you call it out, unless you sit with it long enough to understand what it's trying to teach you. Think about the last time someone truly hurt you. Maybe they lied to you, dismissed you, ghosted you, used you, or broke a promise that meant the world. Did you give yourself permission to feel it, or did you slap on a smile, distract yourself with work, or drown it in noise just to escape the weight of it? Because the truth is, healing starts with acknowledgement. Not with distraction, not with revenge, not even with forgiveness, with acknowledgement. Just saying to yourself, this happened, it hurt. I didn't deserve it, and I'm allowed to feel this. When you do that, you're not being dramatic. You're being real. You're breaking the pattern that says your emotions are too much. You're honoring your own experience instead of shrinking it down to make others more comfortable. That's brave. That's power. That's you showing up for yourself in a world that often tells you to move on before you're ready. Some people will try to tell you that you're overreacting, that you should be stronger than that if it really mattered, you'd get over it faster. But your pain is not on anyone else's timeline. What hurts you deeply doesn't need to be justified to anyone else. Your feelings are valid because they're yours. You don't owe anyone a version of yourself that skips the process. Healing isn't linear. It's layered, and every layer begins with acknowledgement. And here's something else. Pain doesn't make you broken. It makes you human. You don't need to fix your emotions. You need to feel them. Let them move through you. Let them rise and fall. Let them shake you if that's what it takes. Because on the other side of feeling is clarity, is peace, is power. Not the kind of power that comes from controlling everything, but the kind that comes from knowing you can face anything. When you give yourself the space to acknowledge your pain, you create room for compassion, not just for others, but for yourself. You begin to understand your boundaries better. You start to notice the red flags sooner. You stop abandoning yourself for the comfort of others. You start showing up for yourself in ways you always wished someone else would. That's how the healing begins, not from someone else's apology, but from your own validation. Your pain has a voice, listen to it, let it speak, let it tell you what needs to change, let it guide you back to yourself. You don't have to rush it. You don't have to justify it. You just have to feel it. Acknowledging the pain is not a setback, it's a step forward. It's the moment you stop running and start rising. Set boundaries, respect yourself enough to walk away. Just like the last one, it's written without subheadings or an ending sentence and keeps the tone bold, self-assured, and emotionally honest. There's a moment after someone hurts you when you realize something powerful. You get to decide what happens next. You don't control what they did, but you absolutely control what you allow from this point forward. That moment is where boundaries are born, not from anger, not from revenge, but from self-respect. Boundaries aren't about building walls. They're about creating clarity. They're not about shutting people out. They're about deciding who gets in, because not everyone deserves access to you. Not everyone has earned the right to be close to your heart, your energy, your time. And when someone crosses the line, disrespects you, lies to you, or treats your presence like it's replaceable, you owe it to yourself to draw that line, firm and clear. Walking away isn't weakness. It's not giving up. It's not bitterness, it's power. It takes courage to say, this doesn't feel good, this isn't safe, this doesn't serve me anymore. Especially when your heart is involved, especially when you hoped they'd change or thought they saw your worth. But you can't keep shrinking yourself to fit someone's limited vision of you. You can't keep making excuses for why someone's treating you less than you deserve. Love is not supposed to be painful to the point of losing yourself. Sometimes we stay because we're scared. Scared of being alone, scared of conflict, scared of what people will think. But peace is worth the risk. Your dignity is worth the risk. Every time you choose yourself, even when it's hard, you raise the standard for how others can treat you. You show the world, and yourself, that your heart is not a doormat. It is a sacred space, and not everyone gets to enter. There will be people who don't understand your boundaries. They'll call you cold, dramatic, too sensitive, too much. Let them. Their discomfort is not your responsibility. You're not responsible for making others comfortable at the expense of your own peace. You're not here to tolerate what breaks you just to keep the peace. Peace built on silence and self-abandonment isn't peace, it's a prison. Setting boundaries also means you stop negotiating with people who never saw your worth in the first place. You stop begging for the bare minimum. You stop staying in situations where your value has to be explained. You stop watering dead plants hoping they'll bloom. Some people won't change. Some people will keep hurting you not because you deserve it, but because they benefit from your silence. Boundaries end that cycle. You don't owe anyone unlimited chances. You don't have to keep proving you're loyal to people who have already shown they're careless with your heart. Loyalty isn't about staying, it's about knowing when it's time to go. You can forgive someone and still walk away. You can wish them well and still protect your peace. Those two things can exist at the same time. Boundaries aren't just something you say, they're something you live. It's not about saying "don't hurt me" and then staying when they do. It's about backing up your words with action. It's about deciding that your love, your time, your kindness, these are gifts, not obligations. And anyone who treats them like they're disposable doesn't get to keep receiving them. You teach people how to treat you by what you tolerate. And every time you allow disrespect, every time you accept less than you deserve, you teach them that it's okay. But every time you stand up, every time you say no more, you teach them something else. You teach them that you have a spine. You teach them that you won't settle. And more importantly, you teach yourself that your worth isn't up for debate. The most powerful thing you can do after being hurt is not to get even. It's to get clear, clear on who you are, clear on what you need, clear on what you will and will not accept. That clarity becomes your compass. It guides you out of toxic patterns and into healthy spaces. It helps you stop repeating cycles and start building the life you deserve. You can love someone deeply and still know they're not good for you. You can have history with someone and still decide they have no place in your future. You don't have to be cruel. You don't have to raise your voice. You just have to stand firm with grace, with strength. With quiet, unstoppable self-respect. You are not too much for setting boundaries. You are not selfish. You are not hard to love. You are someone who is learning to honor yourself, and that is one of the bravest things anyone can do. You are not here to be everything to everyone. You are here to be everything to yourself first. Setting boundaries is not about controlling others. It's about protecting your peace. It's about creating a life where your needs are not just acknowledged, but respected. Where your heart is not just open, but safe. Where your presence is not just seen, but valued. And you have every right to build that life unapologetically. Focus on your power, not their actions. Like before, it's written without subheadings or an ending sentence and keeps the tone fierce, grounded, and emotionally resonant. When someone hurts you, it's easy to get stuck in a loop of questions. Why did they do this to me? What did I do wrong? How could they just walk away like that? You replay the moment over and over in your mind, trying to make sense of something that probably never will. But the longer you stay there analyzing their choices, their mindset, their issues, the more you drift away from the one person who matters most in your healing, you, because here's the truth, not everything they did was about you. Most of the time it wasn't. It was about them, their fears, their insecurities, their need for control, their emotional immaturity, their inability to love in a way that didn't come with conditions. And the moment you stop trying to decode their behavior, you free yourself to reclaim something far more important than answers, your power. You don't heal by understanding why someone chose to hurt you. You heal by understanding that their choices don't define you. You're not their mistake. You're not their absence. You're not their betrayal. What they did is on them, how you rise from it. That's all you. And that's where your focus needs to be, not on what they took, but on what you still have, not on how they broke you, but on how you're rebuilding. Power doesn't come from controlling others. It comes from controlling your energy, your reaction, your mindset, Every second you spend thinking about them, what they did, what they didn't do, who they're with now is a second you're giving away your power. They're not even in the room, but they're living rent, free in your mind. They don't deserve that space anymore. Take it back. Taking back your power looks like shifting the narrative. Instead of why did they treat me that way, ask why did I tolerate it for so long? Not to blame yourself, but to awaken yourself. To get curious, not bitter. To figure out where you forgot your worth so you never forget it again. That's where growth happens. That's where transformation begins. You can't rewrite their story, but you can rewrite yours. You can decide that this pain will not define you, that it will not make you bitter, that it will not keep you stuck in shame or regret or rage. You can decide that you're not going to waste your energy trying to make them feel what they made you feel. That kind of revenge never satisfies, because what your soul really wants isn't their apology, it's your freedom, and that starts the moment you stop looking backward and start looking inward. Stop letting people who didn't value you decide how you see yourself. Stop letting the way they handled you convince you that you are hard to love. Their lack of care doesn't mean you're unworthy. It means they were unequipped or unwilling, or too small to hold something as real as you. That's not your fault, and it's not your responsibility to fix. Your responsibility is to yourself, to your healing, to your peace. You get to choose what kind of life you build from here. You get to decide how you speak to yourself, how you spend your time, what you give your heart to, and every time you choose something that feeds your growth, you step deeper into your power. Your power is in your voice, the one that speaks truth even when it trembles. Your power is in your ability to keep showing up for yourself, even on the days when it feels impossible. Your power is in the moment you say, I'm done giving people permission to make me feel small. That's a shift. And once it happens, there's no going back. Power isn't loud. Sometimes it's quiet. It's you turning your phone off instead of begging for answers. It's you blocking the number that keeps pulling you back into chaos. It's you saying no, even if your voice shakes. It's you choosing solitude over being someone's second option. It's you remembering who the hell you are. You are not powerless. You were never powerless. You just forgot. You forgot how much control you have over your space, your energy, your future. You forgot that you don't need their closure. You create your own. That you don't need their permission to move on. You just need your decision. That you don't need their love to feel whole. You were already whole before they even arrived. There is a version of you on the other side of this pain who is wiser, stronger, softer, and more powerful than you can imagine. But you won't meet her by staying stuck in their story. You'll meet her the moment you start focusing on your own, on your vision, on your healing, on your peace. That's where your power lies, not in their hands. In yours, rebuild your confidence with action. No subheadings, no ending sentence. Just bold, motivational storytelling that stays emotionally connected and grounded in strength. Confidence isn't something you wake up with one morning. It's not some magical feeling that appears after someone finally sees your worth or gives you the validation you've been craving. Confidence is a decision, a process. A muscle you rebuild every single day, especially after someone's broken your trust, damaged your self-worth, or made you question everything you thought you knew about love, friendship, or even yourself. When someone hurts you, it's not just your heart that takes the hit. It's your identity. You start to question things that used to feel certain. You wonder if maybe you were the problem, if you should have done more, said less, been quieter, softer, different. That's what pain does. It shakes the foundation you were standing on. But here's the truth. You don't rebuild confidence by waiting to feel strong again. You rebuild it by choosing to act strong before you feel ready. Action is where healing starts to take shape. It's in the small things, the tiny, quiet moments when you show up for yourself, when you make your bed in the morning, even though you didn't want to get out of it. When you go for that walk, even though your heart is heavy. When you apply for that opportunity, speak up in that meeting, Look in the mirror and say, I'm not going to give up on myself. Confidence grows every time you keep a promise to yourself. Because that's what self-trust is built on: consistency, not perfection, not constant motivation, but showing up again and again like you would for someone you love, and you are someone you love, even if you forgot that for a while. Even if someone made you believe you were only lovable when you were pleasing or perfect or silent. Rebuilding confidence after someone's hurt you means reclaiming your voice. It means saying what you mean even if your voice shakes. It means asking for what you need even when you're scared they'll walk away. It means refusing to shrink so someone else can feel comfortable. Every time you speak your truth, you remind yourself that your voice matters. That your feelings are not a burden, that you don't have to disappear just to be accepted. The people who made you doubt yourself may never apologize. They may never come back. They may never understand the impact of what they did. But your growth is not dependent on their regret. It's built in the choices you make now, in how you choose to talk to yourself when no one else is around, in how you show up in spaces that once made you feel small and take up every inch of room with your full, radiant presence. You don't have to be completely healed to take action. You just have to be willing to try, willing to fall and get back up, willing to believe, even if it's just a tiny whisper, that you're meant for more than pain. And with every action you take, your confidence starts to return. Not because someone else handed it to you, but because you built it with your own 2 hands. Wear the outfit that makes you feel powerful, even if no one's watching. Say yes to the opportunity, even if you're nervous. Say no to the invitation that drains you, even if it disappoints someone. Set a boundary, keep a promise, try something new, say what's on your mind. Celebrate your wins, even if they're small, especially when they're small, because those little moments of action, they're not little at all. They are building blocks. They are declarations. They are you choosing yourself in real time. Confidence is not about never feeling insecure. It's about knowing how to lead yourself through that insecurity with grace. It's knowing that even when doubt shows up, you don't have to let it drive. That even when fear is loud, it doesn't get to decide. You do. You get to decide to keep moving, to keep building, to keep showing up. There will be days when you backslide, days when you question everything again. That's okay. Confidence doesn't mean constant certainty. It means resilience. It means choosing to come back to yourself again and again, to choose action over paralysis, to choose growth over comfort, to choose yourself over and over, especially on the days when you're tempted to abandon yourself just to feel safe. You don't get your power back all at once. You get it back moment by moment, decision by decision. And with every action that aligns with your truth, your worth, your values, you rise a little higher, you speak a little louder, you stand a little taller, until one day you wake up and realize you're not trying to be confident anymore. You just are, not because they told you so, not because someone finally saw your value, but because you saw it, and you had the courage to act like it was true, even before you felt it, even when it was hard. Especially when it was hard, that's where real confidence comes from, not from being perfect, from being you on purpose. Forgive for your peace, not their comfort. Like the rest, no subheadings, no ending sentence, just strong soul, shifting energy in every line. Forgiveness is one of the hardest things you'll ever do, especially when the wound runs deep. When someone you trusted looked you in the eyes and still chose to lie. When someone you gave everything to left you empty. When someone you showed up for vanished when you needed them most, and now people say you need to forgive. But let's be honest, it doesn't always feel that simple, because forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. It doesn't mean pretending it didn't hurt. It doesn't mean welcoming someone back who's proven they can't be trusted. Forgiveness is not about erasing what happened. It's about releasing you from the weight of what happened. It's about choosing peace over poison, not for them, for you. When you hold on to bitterness, It doesn't protect you, it chains you. You replay the scenes, the words, the betrayal. You want them to feel the pain they caused. You want them to carry the guilt, but what if they never do? What if they move on like nothing happened? Are you going to stay stuck in the moment they hurt you? Or are you going to take your power back and move forward anyway? You don't need their apology to heal. You don't need their remorse to let go. Some people will never give you the closure you deserve, and that's okay because the real closure doesn't come from them. It comes from the moment you decide that your peace matters more than your anger, that you're done being held hostage by a past you can't change, that you refuse to let what someone did to you define who you become. Forgiveness is not for the weak, it's for the powerful. It takes strength to release the need for revenge. It takes clarity to say, I'm not excusing what you did, I'm just not carrying it anymore. Because carrying it doesn't punish them, it punishes you. It slows you down, it dims your light, it keeps you locked in a version of yourself that was never meant to last. Forgiveness doesn't mean reconnection. You can forgive someone and still never speak to them again. You can forgive and still block the number, still unfollow, still walk away without looking back. Forgiveness is not reconciliation. It's freedom. It's saying, I'm done letting this live in me. I'm done letting your choices disturb my inner world. You are allowed to let go and still feel hurt sometimes. You're allowed to forgive and still remember. You're allowed to protect your boundaries while releasing the resentment. It's not all or nothing. Forgiveness is a process. Some days you'll feel free, other days the pain will rise again. And that doesn't mean you're failing. It means you're human. It means the wound was real, but with each wave that hits you and passes, you're healing. Little by little, breath by breath. You are not weak for feeling angry. You are not wrong for grieving, but you are too powerful to let that anger own you. You are too wise to let someone else's cruelty write the story of your life. Don't let their mistake become your identity. Don't let their betrayal convince you that you are unworthy of love, respect, or safety. You are more than what happened to you. You are the person who survived it, who is rising in spite of it, who is learning to let go, not because they deserve it, but because you do. You deserve peace. You deserve sleep that isn't haunted by replayed arguments. You deserve joy that isn't interrupted by random waves of resentment. You deserve to laugh without the weight of old pain sitting on your chest, and that peace is waiting for you, but you can't hold it if your hands are full of bitterness, so you choose to put it down. Not all at once. Maybe today you just stop checking their page. Maybe tomorrow you stop having imaginary conversations where you finally get to say what you wish you said. Maybe next week you breathe through the anger instead of feeding it. That's forgiveness. That's what it really looks like. Quiet, unseen, brave. You don't forgive because they earned it. You forgive because you're tired of carrying it. You forgive because you love yourself more than you hate them. Because you're ready to heal. Because you know the longer you wait for justice, the more you delay your joy. And you didn't come this far to stay bitter. You came to be free. They may never know what their actions cost you. They may never understand the damage they did. That's not your job anymore. Your job is to protect your peace, to choose softness without sacrificing your strength, to release the pain without erasing the lesson. And to remind yourself that forgiveness is not letting them off the hook, it's letting you off the hook. It's saying, I may have been hurt, but I will not live hurt. I will live free. And no one, not even the person who broke you, can take that away from you.